Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the new social studies lesson of the week. Today is 18th of May 2020 and the lesson title is Life in the Desert, Life in a Desert Oasis and the Life of Bedouins. We all know UAE is a desert and then it developed and developed and developed, but it still remains a desert, right? So let's learn about the life of people in the past when they lived in the UAE as a desert. Learning outcomes. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to identify different types of desert and describe Arabian desert. And you will be able to describe an oasis and understand how an oasis is formed. And also you will be able to describe Bedouin life and understand the connection between Bedouin tradition and Emirati culture. Let us revise the key vocabulary. With me, everyone. Arabian desert, thorns, Rab al-Khali, nocturnal, ghaf tree, boswela tree, frankincense, sap, caravan, hospitality, heritage, traditions, cooperation. Good job, everyone. Deserts. What is a desert? Deserts are dry land areas. Deserts can be hot and sandy, and it can also be cold and frozen. This is a hot and sandy desert in the picture. And in this picture, you can see a cold and frozen desert. Hot deserts have little rain, and cold deserts have little rain or falling snow. The deserts in UAE are mostly hot sandy deserts. UAE has no natural surface water like lakes or rivers. UAE has seas, but it does not have rivers or lakes. Desert. At night, hot sandy deserts can be very cold. The dry air does not hold heat. The Arabian Desert includes parts of UAE. The Rub al Khali is in the center of the Arabian Desert. It is one of the largest areas of the sand in the world. Rub al Khali means empty quarter, but it is not really empty. It is the home for many desert plants and animals. This is the Rub al Khali in the picture in the desert that you can see. Desert plants. Some plants can live in the desert. Many desert plants have thorns to keep animals away. Do you know some desert plants that have thorns on them? If your answer is cactus, amazing job, everyone. Half tree grows in the Arabian desert. Remember the half tree? Remember few weeks back in a lesson of social studies where we were discussing the symbols of UAE, I showed you a half tree. It was also the national tree of UAE and it grows in the desert with little water, very little water. And it gives shades to the people and animals in the hot sun in the desert. This is the picture of the half tree. Half tree lives where there is underground water. This is helpful to people who lives in the desert because if they can see the half tree, that means under the half tree in the ground, they can find the water. Half tree can live for up to 120 years, and like I said, it is also the national tree of UAE. Do you remember doing the half tree activity in moral education where you bought brown bottles and green caps and green papers? Yes, I know you do remember enjoying that activity. Now, continuing with desert plants, there is another important tree in the desert that is called boswela tree. Sap is collected from this tree to make frankincense. Frankincense has a good smell when it is burned. It is just like oud. You know oud? We burn the oud to get good smell. People sell this frankincense to make money. Sap is a liquid that is collected from the tree. This is the boswellia tree, and you can see these people collecting sap from the tree. This is the sap that is coming out from the tree. This is collected from the boswellia tree to make frankincense that is then burned for good smell all around like oud. Then comes desert animals. Some animals can live in the desert, and some desert animals are nocturnal. Nocturnal animal means they sleep during the daytime when it's hot and they wake up at the nighttime when it's cooler. Desert animals includes meerkats, camels, snakes, scorpions, and grasshoppers. The animals need little water. Many get all the water they need from their food. Here are some of the pictures of some of the desert animals that you can find in the desert. Oasis, source of life. An oasis is a place in the desert which has water. It is heaven in the desert because the desert where it is all sand and so hot, it is a blessing to find an oasis with water and animals and plants. Because it has water, plants grow around the water and animals also live near the water. And because oasis has water, plants and animals, so people can also live there. It's easy for people to live there. Look at this picture of an oasis in the desert. In the past, caravans of people stopped to rest at oases on their way through the desert. They got water and food in the oasis. Travelers found shelter in the oasis. Continuing with oases, rainwater may collect in small pools and water come from the underground. People may dig wells like in this picture to get the water, and water channels called falaj like you can see in the second picture. This is a water channel called falaj which brings water from far, far away. Traveling in the desert was difficult in the past, and travelers bought food and other things from people living in the oasis towns. And oasis towns were important for the desert travelers because while traveling in the desert, an oasis town was very important for the travelers so they can buy food and water from the oasis people. Bedouins in the UAE. In the past, Bedouins lived in the desert of UAE. Bedouins are the people who used to live in the UAE deserts, and they used to move from one place to another. They traveled from the coast to the oasis. Remember in the previous lesson we learned about coast. Coast means near the sea. So they used to travel from the sea to the oasis in the desert, and they moved from place to place. Like I said, they did not used to live in one place. They always used to move from place to let their camels and other animals eat. They bought products from towns on the coast to sell in the oasis town, and then they took products from oasis town back to sell in the towns at the coast. And Bedouins sold products they made from camel milk like butter and yogurt. You can see this fresh camel milk that was used by the Bedouins to make butter and milk. And then they sold the products also that they made from camel hair like mats and carpets you can see in the picture. And some Bedouins were pearl divers during the pearl diving season as well, and then they used to sell those pearls in the oasis towns as well. This is called trading, right? Buying, selling, buying and selling. Bedouin tradition. Many of the Bedouin tradition are part of the Emirati culture and heritage. Bedouin traditions makes the UAE strong. Like in this picture, you can see Bedouins being hospitable to their guests because one Bedouin tradition is hospitality. Hospitality means being kind to guests. Bedouins offered coffee, food, water, and shelter to their guests. Today, the UAE welcomes guests from all over the world. Guests can stay at very nice hotels, eat at very good restaurants, and visit interesting places all around the UAE. Bedouins in the UAE no longer live in the desert or travel by camels now. They live in houses, in towns and cities, but they still remember their traditions and their heritage. Now you will open your social studies book, page 38, and you will do this activity one brainstorming, and you can also check your answer from the answer key here. Then you will move to page 39 where you will do activity 2. You will circle the correct answers in the 3 questions, and then you can also check your answers from the answer key here. Then we will go to the social studies book, page 41, to do the activity 4, that is matching. And we will match, you will read the name and description of the animals and match them to the correct picture, and you can check your answers from the answer key here. Then we'll go to social studies book, page 46, for class discussion. What is an Oasis and what is the most important thing to have in Oasis? And you will check your answers in the answer key here. Then we'll also move to social studies book, page 47, learning from pictures. You will read these sentences and see which picture suits these sentences and write the letters with them, A, B, C, D, E, or F, and check your answers from the answer key here. Then we'll come to page 454 and we will check the answers from the answer key here by reading the definitions and matching to the correct words and building our knowledge. Then we will come to page 55, critical thinking. How do Oasis people, Bedouins, and people in the coastal towns cooperate? And how does trade, buying and selling benefit people in all the areas? And you will check your answer from the answer key. Then these are the optional worksheets you can do for extra practice about the desert. And these are the YouTube videos that you can watch to learn more about Bedouin life and the UAE heritage. Then we have assessment. You'll click on the assessment link and click the correct answers and submit your assessment. Till then, have fun everyone, and I will see you all next week. Bye bye.